Going through changes. I'm going through changes. Way back in the 90s, I was in a favorite TV show. In South Africa, people voted when? People voted when was this thing? On the 29th, which was, I think, a week ago, on a Wednesday. And it was fun, man. Okay, it wasn't fun, but actually it was, because I got to speak to a lot of people, and mostly old people. I didn't see a lot of people my age, but got to talk with a lot of them. Most of them changed their vote. They used to vote for one party, and then they voted for another one. I live in a very suburban community, so there were a lot of DA supporters. They didn't want to talk to me. I would say hi and stuff, and they would just look at me like I killed their parents. It's fine. It is what it is. Most people don't greet these days, but it's fine. And then I talked to a couple of my friends about it. A lot of people were they were passionate about voting, but they also felt like it wasn't gonna change anything. That the ANC will still have power, which it doesn't, and that they'll still retain majority, which it doesn't. You feel me? And in those discussions, we would swap ideas on how to make a better South Africa. And I had a lot of good points because I'm a smart nigga. And I'm going to share those thoughts and those opinions and those ideas in my head, because I really think I improved politics in general. I made them better, and just okay, not better, but I feel like if our politics were like this, there would be a significant difference in how we interact with politics and how they affect our lives and shit. Into esibethayo zabantu up in South Africa, it's when it comes to politics, is the fact that there's a disconnect in terms of politics, because most people, when I ask them about, "Ayo, are you gonna vote? Are you gonna do this? Or are you gonna do that? Who are you gonna vote for? Wada wada?" I would hear a lot of people saying, "Hi, I'm not voting. Hi, it's not gonna change anything. It doesn't affect me." Yeah, answers along those lines. And I would always be confused, because your life as a citizen in a country is dictated by the politics. You can say, it's affected by by the economy, but politics play a role in the economy. That's the thing. Yes, South Africa has a huge economic problem, but that economic problem stems from politics in a sense, because the reason why most people are poor is because, okay, not poor, but they are economically challenged, is because of all the wealth was gatekept by the benefactors of apartheid, essentially. And there was no such thing as a land reform or wealth reform, wealth redistribution and land redistribution. The people who benefited during the apartheid still benefit right now. That's the thing. It wasn't the thing about, okay, they stole our money and our land and then they gave it back. Nah, they just said, I'm sorry. And then it finished there. So our economic struggles stem from politics, in a sense. And that's why there's some political parties that are advocating for like certain economical changes and policies. We have to eliminate that disconnect. And I feel like a great way to do that, I think there's two ways to do that. One, politics need to be more transparent in a sense. In the sense that a lot of things are being put out in public. For example, you have court cases, you have there's police cameras now where you can see the actions that the police take through the camera as proof, just in case things happen. Italian, you feel me? So I never understood why it's not the same for for politics, because at the end of the day, what those people are saying dictate how we can live our lives. They dictate my life as a citizen and all of everything basically in a South African sense. And we don't really know what they say behind those corridors and behind those doors and whatever the case may be. They just come to us saying that we have to reach an agreement, and then they go and do the agreement. We don't even know what the agreement is. We don't know what they're talking about. And basically it's a very huge disconnect that needs to be eliminated, because now your average person doesn't really know politics as well as they should, because they just deem it as it's not important. It's just old people talking to each other in a big room. Those people are making huge decisions that we don't have a say in, first of all, and second of all, it affects us, basically. And we can't afford to not know what's going on behind those closed doors. We can't afford to not know what's being said. And we need clarity. We need to find out that utini nina nitini xa nithetha nodwa before nifike ku-TV. What are you saying? What are y'all saying, bruh? So yeah, politics need to be more transparent. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's accessibility, because the thing about politics is the only way you can interact with politics is one way, which is the news, which is like any type of news outlet. It can be social media, it can be SAPC, it can be a radio, whatever the case may be. So it's the news and it's voting, and that only happens after 5 years. So it's just a one-way thing where you can't interact with it, but it can interact with you always. So that's the thing. Politics need to be more accessible, in the sense of, I picture a democracy as the citizen has a say in what happens in the country that they live in. To me, that's what a democracy is. That's why we vote. You feel me? But now the thing is, there are decisions being made using resources that are also funded by the citizen in terms of tax, that will never benefit the citizen. Or if it does, there's corruption that disallows any benefit from coming out of it. A great example of this was a 15 million rand field that me and a couple of my friends could do in a week for 1,000 rand. I feel like it's very easy to make, and that, yo, bruh. And what I hate about that thing is that it happened in Queenstown, and I'm from Queenstown, bruh. And when I heard it, yo, dog, inhliziyo yami mfethu, yo, 15 million, yo, dog. So people, us as citizens, we need to have a say in what happens, in what decisions are being taken, in terms of, what's this thing? We need to have a say in the decisions being taken. A way that I thought about it, I thought, okay, instead of there being an app for ESCOM that tells you when you're gonna have load shedding, there should be an app for like politics. You register with your ID, and at least, like, I don't know when people pay tax. I don't know if it's a monthly thing or a yearly thing. I feel like it's a periodical thing. I don't know what's the period though. But let's say at least once a month people vote on what should be South Africa's focus. And depending on the percentage of the votes, let's say the categories are not economics, it should be education, entrepreneurship, what's this thing? Transport, in terms of actual transport, like buses and airplanes and railroads and all that stuff, and roads, health, all those stuff. And then people can just vote per month on what should be the main focus, or just what should be focused on. And let's say funds will only be allocated to a thing if it gains at least like 25% and upwards. And if it does, we are focusing on those things. If it gets 25% of votes and upwards, I feel like that's a good way. So I feel like an app that will tell you, that lets you interact with politics directly, and makes you, like, it gives you a sense of, okay, I'm contributing to this thing, and you take it more seriously. Because now people are just they're just roaming aimlessly, just trying to get by, and they don't care about politics. But the thing is, we actually need to take care of it. We actually need to understand it and apply it. But there's no way to apply it. And I feel like an app, because it's very easy to make an app. If you can make an app that allows us to prepare for your faults, you can make an app that will help you, basically, in a sense, and give you like certain standards and expectations about, okay, our people want this and that. Let's try to provide it to them, so that your focus is more like, now you can focus on one thing. It's the same thing of having objectives and goals when you're a business. The only difference there is that in politics, you're not making money. You're trying to better the lives of the citizens. So I feel like this app idea will be very, very, very useful. Not just for us as citizens, but for the government themselves. Also, another way to improve, like, politics in a sense, I feel like coalitions should play a big part in, like, not coalitions in a sense, but unity, basically, amongst political parties. Because at the end of the day, my thing is this: if there's too many political parties, the votes are more like dispersed, and the spread of the votes are not as concentrated. So now you have these 0.04%, you have 1% there, you have 5% there, and now everybody, and now at the end of the day, we're just gonna. It's not an ideal way to do things because now if you're not concentrated on a few a few things or a few parties, then all those votes are gonna be useless in a sense because now they don't have a say, they don't have power, they they're just useless. They're just there to accumulate oxygen. Okay, they're just there to take up space and waste our oxygen. You need to vie. Me, I feel like there should be a policy somewhere that if you have, let's say, I don't know what's an efficient number, but let's say you have 10%. You have to have 10% and above to remain as an independent party. If you have 9 point something and above and below, we don't need you, dog. Either go form a coalition or vie, dog. Because we don't need you. Because now all you're doing is you're wasting our time, you're wasting our votes, and you're wasting our oxygen. Paula, chill. And I feel like the only reason why there's so many parties is because one person wants to be the steering. I want to be the one. Which is dumb because at the same time, as a politician, your objective shouldn't be to be the one. It should be helping and improving the lives of the citizens and making your country a better place. You can't do that with 1%. You can't. Maybe I'm dumb and I don't know what happens there. Maybe they have a say there and it amounts to something. But 1%, what you gonna do with 1%? You can't tell me anything with 1% and I have majority. You're not gonna say shit. You're gonna shut the fuck, nigga. Bruh. So, and the thing is, most of these parties, they have aligning, like what's this thing? They have aligning policies and values and ideas and views on how to improve South Africa. So why don't you just form a coalition because there's so many benefits to that. One, you gain a larger percentage, which means you have a louder voice. Two, you minimize the risk of what's this thing? You minimize the risk of dispersing the votes, and now there'll be more votes for you guys to gain from it. There'll be a larger pool for you guys to use. So I don't understand why people just want to be a steering dog. And another thing is this, because I feel like there shouldn't be a sense of opposing views and whatever. An individual's work is harder to apply than a group's work, because in a group there are many people that can solve one problem in different ways. Or they just say, okay, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. And also they keep themselves in check. Because if one person doesn't work or a couple people don't work, they're going to go to that person and be like, hey, Futsek, work. Because now you're ruining our mark, whatever. It's the same. It should be the same thing with politics. Because what's the objective? Make South Africa a better place to live in. How are you going to do that? You can't do that as a one person. Okay, one person in this case is the ANC or one specific party. You can't do that as a one party. Because at the end of the day, you may not have most of the answers. Or there's a better answer out there that can work more effectively and more efficiently than yours. So what's the problem with you taking there? I feel like if there was a coalition with who are these people? With the ANC, the EFF, the DA. My problem with the DA is that I feel like it's gonna be apartheid 2.0. I don't really trust it, and I feel like a lot of people are like that. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, the EFF, the ANC, the DA, a couple others, but I can't think about them. There was one that I voted for that really had some points that stick with me in terms of uh, control use, basically applying a much more effective police force because our crime is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. In South Africa, it's hard to take a walk, bruh. I like taking walks, and okay, the last time I got robbed was like last year, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm saying there's a couple other parties, even though they're small, they have ideas that can actually work for South Africa. So now I'm thinking, because at the end of the day, let's take a team like Real Madrid. In Real Madrid, the players there, their objective isn't to become the greatest player. The main objective is to what? Is to win the championship. How? By being the best player and playing their part. And that's why they won their 15th championship or league title, whatever the case may be. So I feel like those same core ideas and values can apply to politics in the sense that the EFF can do this, the ANC can do that, the DA can focus on this, wada 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 wada. And I feel like, and now that that distributes the amount of stress and the amount of effort people must take in. And I watched a video by a cool guy. He's very good with politics, and he basically like said something about how the ANC wants to do a national union, which I think is a good idea. But what makes me sad about it is because they're only doing it to save their asses. They're not doing it for the betterment of South Africa, because I feel like if they had the majority, they wouldn't do that thing. They wouldn't do that thing. They would just remain fucking up South Africa. But now, since they lack the majority, and no other party wants to sign with them and wants to be part of their coalition, now they want to be unified and say, "Hi, man, let's be together, let's be one." I look for dog. We don't want you, dog. Why? But most of the parties don't want to be a coalition with ANC because of Cyril Ramaphosa, and I get that. And also, Cyril was very arrogant when he said, "You're gonna remain in power." Nya, nya, nya. Now you got 40. Sec. You played yourself, nigga. But I call it. So yeah, I feel like if there was a team of parties that ruled over South Africa, I feel like it would be mad, bruh. Because I feel like running a country is very hectic. And imagine now there were 5 parties running that party. I feel like it would be a better South Africa. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like we can make something move. There shouldn't be a president. We don't need a president. I never understood why there's a president. Because at the end of the day, the president does not run the country by themselves. He has ministers. So instead of those ministers, just have a council of just have a council. Like, imagine, because these politicians are very smart, guys. I'm not. Oh, Uban is gag. Oh, Jacob. Oh, Julius. Oh, Cyril. To an extent. Oh, Ban. They are smart. They know what they're talking about. They've been there for a minute. These guys are old. These guys are old. These guys are old. They were there when apartheid happened. They know these things. They know what's happening. So they carve the level. So now, how can you be one president? Dog. There should be a council. Y'all talk there. Make sure that we know what you're talking about by broadcasting it, so that we understand where we sit as a nation. Instead of you being one man, here we have load sheddings. When you're there saying, "Hi, we want to help Russia." Hi, why? We have our own problems. Why you want to go to Russia? Russia can handle their business. They don't need our help. Yabo, zero years in Jalo, then I'm like, okay, why is there a president in the first place? So I feel like we should mice the president thing, have a council, ngokolweni, sixoxe, zabantu, and try to get to the bottom of this thing. Because South Africa got a lot of problems. And those problems, see, we saw that these problems are too much for one party. So why can't we get all those parties together, have all those brilliant minds, and they cook up something, bro? They cook up a nice solution. And I know those solutions can't be implemented in a 5 years time, because at the end of the day, South Africa is a very young nation, and with our youngness, we came from a fucked up past. So we're still trying to solve those problems, and we haven't solved them yet. And I don't think we are close to solving them, because at the end of the day, the problems that took place there are still in effect, in the sense of the wealth stolen during that time has not returned to us. That's the thing. 2, the land that was stolen has not been returned to us. And the sad part of the matter is, those problems keep increasing because we're still using them to dictate what's happening here. So they still hold value, and they still have weight in South Africa, which is sad, but that's the matter of the fact. What else am I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I feel like as a nation, we should have like a monthly, okay, not monthly, I feel like that would be harsh, a type of semester whereby it's an evaluation. Now we figure out, but okay, what have you done? Let's take this coalition thing, for example. Let's say the EFF was in charge of foreign relationships. So now we dictate, but okay, EFF, what have y'all done, basically? Let's not put a benchmark, because we don't know the benchmarks. We don't know how a good South Africa looks like. So let's just go away from the bad one, and then let's start from there. You feel me? So we can ask them, okay, EFF, you're in charge of foreign relations. What have you done? Then they cook up a level. They tell us what happened. They tell us how it's gonna benefit us, and we as people, we can also ask questions, whether it be reporters, whether it be other people, whether it be bystanders, whether it be held in a specific place, like concerts in a sense. And then we can go to the ANC. Let's say ANC is in charge of I don't know what they're gonna be in charge of this specific thing, and then we're gonna say, okay, ANC, you're in charge of this. What have you done, and how is this thing gonna result in a better South Africa? DA, you're in charge of the economy. What have you done, and what are the results? Njalo njalo. About better Zoe. And I feel like that thing would be fire, I'm not gonna lie. It makes sense, because right now, people are just, because me personally, I feel like most people voted just because, okay, I don't want this one, what are my other options? It wasn't a thing about, okay, let's see your track record. Because there's no such thing, okay, there is probably, but in terms of like provincial and whatever. So I get there is a track record that's in place, but I don't think, okay, let me not speak for people. Now, myself, I don't know their track record. Me, I just went to the, me, I just have the policies and I was like, okay, I like these policies. I like these policies. But this one has one policy that I don't like. But all of these policies I like. So let me just go that side. And let me put you in provincial and local. That's what I did. So now I feel like if there's an evaluation, now we can dictate about, okay, keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track. You are fucking up. Get your bag up. What do you need? Do you need a bigger bag? Any bag. Now go do your thing. And we should stop this tender thing, bro. I don't understand why we giving tenders. What's the point of a tender? People are being given tenders to build 10 bridges and they only build one. And that bridge isn't even finished. How can, bruh? And they just let it be like that. Nah, there should be an evaluation of about, okay, fit. When they pay back the money or go to jail. One of those things, because you failed. And there could be reasons for that. Could be weather, could be conditions, could be faulty work, whatever. But now there's those certain things that need to be put into consideration. But okay, we've given you this amount of time. You said you need this amount of time. And I understand that most things you can't give them a period. You can't give them a time. All we can do now is just have your process and have your progress. That's the only thing we can do. That's a bar. You feel me? Yeah. Thank you. Drink more water. I got nothing else to say. Bye.